Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. Why are people texting me when I have do not disturb on? Like, that's so rude. I actually need do not disturb on right now. Thank you very much. Like, hello? The theme of this episode is Am I Overreacting? So let's get into it. The title of the first story is Am I Overreacting to My Fiance's Response If I Ever Got Raped? A bit of a backstory. Me, 28 female, and my fiance, 35 male, have just celebrated our 10th anniversary last weekend and are trying to get pregnant. But this whole thing is giving me second doubts. We were on the phone talking about the Charlie Kirk case, and my fiance started the discussion that nobody deserves to die, and especially not because of their views. On this case, I agreed with him, but I said that some people do not deserve to be here. He asked me what kind of people I meant, and so I said rapists, child offenders, and just generally bad people that have done awful things to others. He then asked me a random question that I did not see coming, and I was a little taken aback by. He said, "What would you do if a guy put a gun to your head and told you to have sex with him and give him a BJ?" I just stayed silent for a minute because I knew it was a trick question and whatever I said was going to upset him. He didn't like that I stayed quiet, so he automatically took that as a yes and immediately hung up on me. He then proceeded to send me multiple messages asking me what my answer was. This is most of the conversation. This is not the first time that he has asked me something like this, and each time he gets upset if it's not an automatic no. I've always wanted to be a mother, and I would do absolutely anything for my babies. If it ever came to that situation, then I think my answer would have to be yes. He doesn't like what I said and is now refusing to talk to me and is trying to end it. I don't want to lie to him and tell him I wouldn't when I know in my heart if it was for my children and I that I would. Do I just let him go or do I tell him what he wants to hear? Is this childish on both sides? Please, any advice is welcomed. Am I overreacting by being upset that he would rather have me dead than come home to him and our children? I'm going to read the messages, but I'm feeling very upset right now. Okay. She said, because any other answer than no is not good enough for you and makes me a whore. See, you want me to say no. I don't want you to say anything but the truth, is what he said. She said, you would rather me get shot in the head than come back to you and our babies because I'm telling you I would do anything for our babies. And he said, so your answer would be yes? And she said, if it meant being here for my babies, yes, any mother would. I knew you would do this. You don't care about me. You only care about yourself. You would rather have me dead, and that's so wrong of you. You don't love me. You truly don't. He said, you repulse me. I'm disgusted by what you are. I've invested all of my time and money into the wrong person. Stop reaching out to me. I'm serious. Thank you. Sorry, I have no words currently. I have no words currently. 10th anniversary? Oh my God. How have you been with this man for 10 years? How have you been with this man for 10 years? I know that, like, I just am so at a loss for words right now. I'm so at a loss for words. Like, it is hard to even believe that this is a question. Like, obviously, she's extremely, I mean, being with someone for 10 years is, well, you know what? Of course. Now that I think about it, look, she's 28, okay? So when they got together, she was 18. He was 25. Sorry. That's weird. No 25-year-old man needs to be with an 18-year-old. I'm sorry. Like, 28 and 35, okay, all power to you. Doesn't make me blink an eye. But when you say 10th anniversary, and I think back to the fact that you were 18 and he was 25 years old, I can understand. Like, I mean, regardless, I understand. She's a victim. Point blank, period. But I'm thinking out loud here, okay? Don't get mad at me. I'm not victim blaming at all. But it's just really hard. It's just really hard to see this and be like, this man actually exists. This man is a real human being. This man genuinely, even if she didn't have kids, I'm pretty sure any woman is going to not want to get bopped in the head. Yeah. It's not like, what? Are you kidding me? And you think that's her fault, basically? Oh my God. No, this man is scum of the earth. This man, I would like to step on him with my shoe and literally like scrape him off like gum. Like, I cannot deal. I cannot deal with it. Sorry, I'm shocked and absolutely scared out of my mind that men like this exist. I mean, I know they exist, okay? But it truly is like so insane to see. It's like, have you no decency? Have you no normalcy? You are not a normal person if you genuinely are going to be upset that your girlfriend, fiance, wife doesn't want to get bopped in the head. Oh my God. I would love, absolutely love nothing more than you to get the farthest away from this man that you have ever been from anyone and never speak to him. And I hope he just like never gets to see you on any occasion. Not in person, not on social media, nowhere. Like, he's a disgusting human being, the worst of the worst, terrible. He sees you as nothing. He sees you, he's the person that would probably go to a woman and hold it to her head and say, you need to give me a BJ. That's probably who this man is. Okay, sorry. The top comment says, first off, I'm sorry you had to have that response from him. It must have been really alienating to be receiving. I'm sorry you're seeing a side of him like this so late in a relationship. That being said, you're not overreacting, maybe even underreacting. He's blaming you as he sees it as a willing, consenting choice and not grape. Let me repeat that. He doesn't see it as grape. Do not have this man's kids. In this political climate and economy, he's doing you a favor by leaving. Please let him leave. Grieve the loss of what could have been, but grieve it single. He is not the one. Edit, just reread your post. This isn't the first time he's replied like this. Love, dear, girly pop. He is at best a grape apologist. You do not need any of that. You deserve better. OP said, I was almost graped when I was 15 years old by an older guy in his late 20s. When I told my fiance a few years later when I met him, he made me feel like it was my fault, asking me why I didn't push him away harder or tell him no more. He said he was sorry that I had to go through that, but whenever he would get upset after, I would be called a whore and attention seeker. He thinks if I was to ever get graped, that I would just do nothing. And I've tried so many times to tell him if it ever came down to it again, I would fight for my life. I'm tired of the questions and trying to prove myself. I just needed to know that this wasn't normal. He's the only guy I've ever been with, but I just can't take it anymore. Thank you so much for your response. Well, you know what? I don't even like, the thing is like people that are this idiotic, not the girl, this man, people that are that idiotic, like I don't even feel like I can give the time of day to speak to or think about. Like the fact that people actually have a brain the size of a literal dust bunny is like the most wild thing to me in the world. And it's like, I don't even want to engage in a conversation with someone like that. I would literally never be able to speak to someone like this because, first of all, you clearly didn't make it past kindergarten. Like, you clearly have no common sense. You have no education. You have nothing in your brain other than freaking rocks that are just, like, bopping around in there, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm being extremely harsh, but, like, a man like that deserves it, and you cannot tell me anything otherwise. You can never tell me anything other than that. Like, this man is the worst of the worst. He's scum. But unfortunately, there's no update on that one. So I just really hope that she got out of it. and I hope that she's going to live her life and heal, more importantly, from that relationship that was probably extremely toxic. And I hope that she ends up realizing that, and I hope she really, really, really realizes that and like truly does the work, because I can't imagine the brainwashing, like the terrible thoughts and the way that she feels about herself and the like outlook on relationships that she probably has now is probably insane. I mean, yeah, he's probably trained her to believe so many things. Like the fact that she even needs to state that she would fight for her life. It's also okay for you to not want to fight for your life when that's happening to you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say that, but like that doesn't mean that you're letting it happen because you're not fighting for your life. That does not mean that that you want it because you're not kicking and screaming and like saying no every 5 seconds. That's not what oh my God. That's not what SA is. Like if you say no one time, it's a no. And if that person isn't taking it as a no, he's essaying you. She's essaying you. Whoever it is. But let's move on to the next story. Am I overreacting for wanting my boyfriend to back out of a destination wedding he's the best man for because I was uninvited from the wedding? My boyfriend, 35 male, is the best man for his best friend's wedding in a few months. I, 31 female, was originally invited to this wedding as his plus one as well. The wedding is a destination wedding at an extremely expensive resort. All flights and hotels for both of us have been booked and paid for already. I have met the bride and groom-to-be a handful of times, have always been friendly with them, and was invited to attend their joint bachelor/bachelorette trip as my boyfriend's plus one. I attended the weekend trip and had a great time getting to know everyone that will be at the wedding and was really looking forward to seeing everyone again at the wedding. I never felt any sort of animosity and came out of the weekend thinking everyone had a great time partying with each other. Turns out, the bride felt some type of way about me and has uninvited me from the wedding. I have not had any conversations with the bride or groom, but my boyfriend received the news from the groom. From what I heard of the conversation, it seems like the groom doesn't agree with his fiancé and was really uncomfortable to deliver the message, but his hands were tied. My boyfriend has received details on what happened to make the bride feel that way towards me, and we both agreed that it's a ridiculous overreaction and a huge misunderstanding. Long story short, the bride felt as if I didn't make an effort to make her feel special and was trying to take away her spotlight. My boyfriend contacted the other friends who were there that weekend as well, and everyone is in agreement that this is an overreaction and a misunderstanding. The thing that bothers me the most is that everything that was listed out that I was doing to make her feel that way, everybody else was doing as well. But yet it seems like there was a magnifying glass on me and she has a vendetta against me for some reason. My boyfriend thinks it was a series of unfortunate events that started at a house party a few months ago when I beat her in Mario Kart and everyone was cheering for me. I voiced to my boyfriend that I'm more than willing to have a conversation with the bride to clear the misunderstanding to try and get her to change her mind. But at the same time, I'm not really sure I want to go to the wedding anymore. Anyways, as I would hate to be somewhere I'm not wanted. My reasoning for going would more so be to support my boyfriend and enjoy the vacation with him. That being said, I shared with my boyfriend that if the decision stays and I'm uninvited, I would be upset if he still decided to go without me. I may feel differently if, one, it wasn't an expensive destination wedding that takes away valuable vacation days he doesn't have a lot of, or two, we were in agreement that my actions justified this decision in any way. For me, him attending without me feels like he's agreeing with the decision and is choosing to stick by his friend over sticking up for me. Am I overreacting for wanting my boyfriend to back out? I feel like I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, I don't really think it's fair to ask your boyfriend because like this is also his best friend, and I just feel like it's not really fair. Like, I don't know, maybe people are going to agree with me, but I don't think that it would be him supporting that or agreeing with the decision of you not coming. I feel like it would just be him supporting his best friend and being his best friend's best man. And like, I think he can make it clear and known that he doesn't agree with not inviting you and uninviting you, and he doesn't agree with anything that she said, while also still being there for his best friend. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like people are going to disagree with me, but like, I just don't think I personally, if that happened to me, would I be super upset and absolutely like never want to speak to that woman again because like that's just so messed up. Yes. But like also my boyfriend has like had a best friend for years since he was like in 6th grade. And if that I would never ask him to not be a part of his best friend's wedding, because if he asked me to not be a part of my best friend's wedding for that reason, like I don't, it wouldn't be me choosing that person over my boyfriend. It would just be me choosing my best friend, like not over anyone though. I don't know. Am I making like, I don't know, whatever. Let's read the edit and see what other people are saying, because she said, wow, this got way more traction than I ever imagined. Thank you all for taking the time to share your thoughts and insights. It's been really helpful for me to read through and help process my emotions. This was all super fresh news when I wrote this out this morning, and I've had some time to process. I think my next step will be to reach out to the bride to have a talk with her and see exactly from her perspective what went wrong that led her to ultimately make the decision to uninvite me. It's been a game of telephone so far, so it would be helpful to hear it from the source. I plan on apologizing to her during this conversation because even though it may seem like an overreaction and misunderstanding to me and others, what she felt was obviously real and real enough for her to make that decision. My hope from this conversation is that we can at least be cordial moving forward and be friendly for the sake of our men, even if we won't ever be true friends. I'll post another update once we've had the talk. Thanks again. And then there's 2 more edits. She says, I've had another night to think about the situation. Reading through this thread, and it's really split 50-50. Seeing the different angles of everyone's insight has been super helpful. I'm going to talk to my boyfriend tonight and mention that while my feelings of being upset are valid, it's not on me to dictate whether he should go to the wedding or not. I am understanding of the situation and realize that he should be there to support his best friend through his important life moment. He has made it very clear to me as well that he would be attending to support his friend specifically. I do agree with most of the comments here telling me that I should just go on the vacation with my boyfriend and have him minimize his time with wedding duties to the necessities only. I will bring this option up to him, and hopefully we're able to come to an agreeable compromise that leaves us both feeling heard and understood. Edit 3, I told my boyfriend that I plan to reach out to the bride to hear her side of the story and apologize for any wrongdoings on my part. But he told me that he doesn't think it's the right time right now, as the groom has been going to bat for us and the bride has been crying a lot, so I'd like the dust to settle. I guess at this point, I'm kind of at a standstill and waiting for a final decision to be made by the bride/groom. The wedding isn't for another few months, so we have some time to hopefully settle this, be on good terms, and maybe even look back and laugh at how ridiculous this was all one day. This will probably be my last update for a while until there's an actual update to give. Once again, thank you to everyone who took the time to give your insight and share your wisdom. It was pretty 50-50. I was pretty 50-50 about my thoughts, and seemed like the internet is too. Hearing both sides has definitely been helpful for my thought process. Someone said, just go and don't go to the wedding. And then she said, we've discussed this option as well, but since he's the best man, he would be preoccupied with the wedding stuff like the welcome party, rehearsal, the actual wedding and ceremony reception. I would be alone most of the time. Someone said, this is tough, but I agree with you. Him still going would make me feel weird. I get it's not who he's showing up for, the groom making the decision, but still, how did your boyfriend react when you said you'd be upset if he still went? Has any money already been spent on your end or his end to attend? She said, my boyfriend has paid for both of our flights and hotel bookings already. The groom has said that he would pay him back for my portion as he feels bad about the whole thing. He felt that it was unfair for me to put him in an impossible position to pick between me or his best friend. From my perspective, though, I'm not asking to not be friends with a best friend. I just don't want him to go to the wedding if I'm not invited. As much as I get why the groom has to take his fiance's side, I think the groom should understand why my boyfriend would decide not to go if I'm not invited. See, I just still don't agree. Like, I just don't think that it's fair to ask him not to go. How long has OP and her boyfriend been dating? We've been dating for 8 months and are living together. I know we haven't been dating an extremely long time in a traditional sense, but we're not adolescents and have every intent in marrying each other in the near future. Okay, this one says, tell us what you did or what she thinks you did so we can make the call better. And she said, 1, the girls, 10 of us, went out to dinner together and were seated at a long table. I was having a conversation with the girls on my side of the table. I was in the corner, and the bride was sitting on the other side of the table. She felt as if I wasn't including her in on the conversation. My boyfriend spoke with the other girls who were at the dinner, and everyone who was on my side of the table felt like the dinner went well and that there was nothing to note. 2, we were all singing karaoke. Everyone was taking turns putting in songs. The bride just finished singing a song, so I went to go put another song in. She was upset about that because I guess everyone was chanting for her to sing another song, but I was unaware she wanted to sing 2 songs in a row. For the past hour, we've all been taking turns putting in songs. 3, apparently, I wasn't trying to get to know all of the girls. To this, I can say that I spent more time with some girls than the other girls, and just because of the activities that we were doing. Some girls weren't drinking, so they were sticking together and hanging out. Some girls were drinking, myself included, so naturally we stuck together and hung out. Well, how the hell old is this girl? Because she sounds so immature. They're 35 and 31, and this is how this girl's acting? Like, what is it about weddings that makes people like so extremely, and this is coming from a very sensitive person. Like, I'm very sensitive, but I feel like she's being so extremely sensitive, like making things up in her head, and I just don't feel like any of that is valid at all. Okay, there's an update, and it's 2 days later, September 5th, 2025. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend doesn't want me to come to the resort at all. This is a continuation of my previous post, as that post is now locked. A few amendments to my previous post/comments. Turns out I actually paid for the flights. It's been so long since we booked, I forgot. The resort is technically refundable since you don't pay until you get there. The groom has said he would pair up my boyfriend with another guest that's coming alone, as the rooms are priced per 2 occupants. I told my boyfriend that, quote, while it's valid for me to be upset about the situation, it's not valid for me to dictate whether you should go to the wedding or not. I understand the tough spot you're in, and I don't want to make it more difficult than it already is for you. Whatever the final decision is, you should go to support the groom. If the decision stays that they don't want me at the wedding, maybe we can still go to the resort together, and I'll just enjoy some solo spa time while you're doing the wedding stuff. That way we can still have some time together, and you can fulfill your best man duties. He was very against this idea that this would most definitely cause a lot of drama and alienate me further from the group. I said that he knows his friend group better than I do, and if he feels like this would cause more stress for him, I'll bow out. I mentioned that if he doesn't want me staying at the same resort, I could go to a different resort in that area, so at least the flights aren't wasted. He was against this idea as well and said I should just stay home or go to a different destination completely. I have no reason to think that my boyfriend is being unfaithful, as some of the comments in my previous post have mentioned. This just seems to be a point that we don't align on. He wants to make it as drama-free for the bride and groom on their wedding weekend by prioritizing their comfort and needs over mine. I want to be the understanding girlfriend so badly, but man, am I torn between feeling neglected as the girlfriend versus trying to let it go and not die on this hill. Am I overreacting? Okay, well now after this freaking update, I'm like, what is happening? What's going on? You're not even allowed to go to a different resort if you wanted to? What do you mean? You should also, like, what? This boyfriend's being so sketchy. And, like, there's no other update either, which is really annoying because it just seems like something else is going on. Someone said something else is going on beyond what you're being told, or your boyfriend and that friend group are insane. Maybe both. And OP said, yeah, it's really frustrating to be the topic of discussion and not be allowed in the discussion. Feels like I'm in a hole with everyone throwing shade at me and I can't even be there to speak up for myself. I'm just hearing everything through my boyfriend and it's still a big game of telephone. That is actually wild. Someone said he's being very unreasonable and I'd be sus about it. It seems like your boyfriend wants some alone time with that person the groom said he would pair your boyfriend with. And maybe that someone is the bride friends that wants to play matchmaker. I think you should go to the resort still. It won't make any drama and it shouldn't. OP said, I asked who he would be paired up with and they're both guys that I know. I have no reason to suspect that he would be doing anything sus if he's there alone, so I'd rather not spiral down that road. I thought going to a resort and doing my own thing was a great compromise, as suggested by many others, but he wholeheartedly disagrees. Even going to the same country as a different resort would apparently cause issues. What? How would they know if you went to the same country? What the hell are you talking about? Are they owning the whole country? Their aisle is through the whole country. They're walking down the aisle through the whole entire country so they see everyone. Like, I'm just confused. I'm like extremely confused. It does not sound, it sounds so sus. And like, there's really no updates. I'm checking right now and there's no updates and I'm like so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Like, help. Why is he being so sus? He's stressing me out, honestly. Okay, well, unfortunately can't find any further information about that, and I really wish that I could, but we're going to move on to the advice section where I take an advice call or read an advice question, and you can also, so there's a Google form in the description. It's a link to a Google form that you can go and fill out, and you can either leave a confession or you can ask an advice question. The number that you can call to leave a voicemail is 561-264-7017. It will only let you leave a 3-minute voicemail, but if it goes on longer than 3 minutes, you can call back and keep leaving until you're done telling your story. I need to figure out how to make that longer because people I know that a lot of people have been calling and having to leave multiple voicemails, and I don't know if that's annoying, but let's get into this voicemail.
Hi, Jamie. I've been watching your videos for about a year now, and I just need some advice on this recent transition in my life. Not so much a transition for me, but me and my boyfriend have been together for about a year, and he truly, reassures me in every way, doesn't really give me much to worry about, but he just moved to college and started dorming about an hour away from me. Mind you, this is literally the first week of him being gone over there, and I'm used to having him just 10 minutes away. And I am a wreck. I am such a mess, and I just feel like he's probably going to change so much so fast being in that new space, which I'm so happy for him, but it just leaves me worried where it's going to leave him and how he views me in our relationship. Maybe that's an insecurity thing, but I just don't really know what to do and how to not stress with him being in this whole new dorming environment. Yeah, if you have any advice, I'd appreciate it, because, girl, it is hard out here. And if there's any tips for me personally on how I can just be more focused in on myself and not so over his head, I would appreciate that. Okay, I love you. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I love you. And the way that I've been through this exact same situation when I don't even know, this was probably 2021 when my boyfriend went back to college, and I had already been, was it 2021? Yeah, I graduated in 2020, and then my boyfriend's younger than me, so he was going back to college. He was taking online classes for a while because of COVID and stuff, so he was here for a while, and then he ended up going back to college in person in 2021 when classes resumed in person, and I was at the point in my life where I was very insecure. My anxious attachment was extremely at an all-time high. It was like the worst feeling in the world. I was so anxious, so nervous for him to go back to school. I thought that immediately as he was going to go back to school, he was going to cheat on me. And I never thought that he would do that, but my insecurities, even if he was being so sweet, never giving me a single doubt in my mind that he was gonna cheat on me, I still made up so many scenarios in my head, and I thought that like immediately everything was going to change because he was going to college and I was going to be here, and I was like working and living my own life, but like I was so focused on him and our relationship, and it was like a very, very badly anxious attachment moment for me. And girl, I went through that for a whole year. And that was the demise of our relationship. Like, that's literally what made our relationship, not all of it, but I think it was a big part of it, was just it was terrible because I was anxious every single day. Like, I always was having like panic attacks about it. And that sounds so stupid, but I could not control it. So, like, I don't even know. But then that ended up being the demise, as I said. And I was visiting him one time and he did end up breaking up with me. So I would say that I love that you're asking this question because I think that it's so important for you to really like focus on yourself during this time. And I think this is a great time, not only like for him to be, what you said, like he is going to grow and all of that, but like this is also a good time for you to grow and have time to yourself, because that's very important as well. And sometimes when you get a little too codependent on someone or like on a relationship, you really just start focusing your whole life and your whole world revolves around that relationship and that person, and it's not healthy, and you just forget about yourself. Like I completely stopped taking care of myself, and I don't know, you could even like see it. I feel like when I look back at pictures of myself during that time, like I'd never been so pale. I'd never had like, my skin was terrible. I was breaking out. Like it was just showing on, like I looked like a zombie. And now if I could go back and tell myself like, girl, you need to, and it's going to be hard at first and it's going to be hard for a while, of course, but you need to try to like hang out with friends more. If you don't have friends, try to make a couple friends that you can hang out with. Try to spend more time doing things like, if you don't have a hobby, try a bunch of different hobbies and try to pick a hobby up that you are really interested in and you can spend time doing, and try to focus on like things doing by yourself, but also hanging out with friends. And if you have family near or, anyone, and being in public spaces and being around people. And like, if you don't love being around people, it is important to try to like be around people sometimes. But if you're more of an introvert, you can also do things like little dates with yourself, like picnics with yourself, and leave your phone, like turn it on do not disturb, try not to check your phone, journal a little bit, listen to like a nice little calm music. I really love like high frequencies. I'm always listening to those and I feel like it really grounds me and it helps me. Try to say, like, I'm always looking up on YouTube affirmations and things like that because I think that they really help, and I really think that like the things that you speak into existence and the things that you're thinking constantly end up being and manifesting into your life. Like the more positive you're thinking, or just like not even just positive, but like you can trick yourself into being a little bit more positive. Now that obviously only goes so far. I'm not saying that like you can cure every single mental illness you have by doing that, but I truly believe in the power of like positive words and positive affirmations. So YouTube is really good for that. Looking up like positive affirmations in the mornings, like whatever you're struggling with insecurity wise, you can look up like, affirmations for feeling more confident, feeling more beautiful, feeling more empowered, like anything that you're feeling insecure with. I'm always doing like money. I like money affirmations because that's something that I've been trying to work on since I've always, and I've talked about this so many times, is like my struggle with scarcity mindset. I've been trying to really like flip that switch because I think that's something that holds me back a lot. But yeah, I would just really, really, really try to do so many things like for you and with your friends, strengthen other relationships during this time that you can. And yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing that I would say. I know that it's a lot easier said than done, trust me. But like, if you really force yourself to get out there and do those things for yourself, it will make such a big difference. And I learned that like the second time around after me and my boyfriend got back together. It really like, during the breakup I learned a lot, and then us getting back together, it was a whole different side of navigating like how to still put myself first and self-care with myself as well. So I think that's so important, and I hope that I can help you too. Like, I'll be there for you. You can comment, I'll chat with you. I mean, obviously I try to put out content every day, and you watch me, so I hope that helps a little bit as well, to kind of take your mind off things. And yeah, I love you so much, and I totally understand, girl. It's normal to feel stressed. It's normal to feel insecure. It's normal to feel anxious. But the good thing is that you're recognizing it and that you're self-aware about it, and that you can try your hardest to be better about it. And also, it's very interesting and eye-opening to learn about anxious attachment. It sounds like that is probably something that you have and that you could benefit from learning about. I think that helped me a lot, is like seeing just, I was reading a lot of books about anxious attachment and other attachments as well, and trying to like how to become a secure attachment, like try to listen to things about how you bring yourself from an anxious attachment to a secure attachment and things like that. And yeah, I think there's a lot of things that you can do, but of course it's not going to be easy, so you just have to remember that, take it one day at a time. Some days are going to be a lot harder than others, and some days are going to feel really easy and like a breeze. But I love you guys. I love you. I love you so much, and thank you so much for calling in. I love to hear your voice.
Hey, bestie freaking. Please bleep out my name. I found you recently and I comment a fuck ton. um, anyway, so the men be acting up. The men be acting up. And I think we need to take revenge on them, but we need to do it in a way that will not rile them up. So I wanted to share an old story, or a confession, I guess. Because one of your recent ones that I heard was about this woman who farted in the face of her abusive husband, which, way to go, girly. Way to go. But when I was in high school, we're the same age. I think I'm a couple months younger, so I'm on my way to the 27, and I'm scared, girl. I'm scared. No longer being 25 has been already is so crazy. Anyway, but in high school, my friend was dating this, oh God, he was just that greasy skater dude who came from the wrong side of the tracks and like, you know, would be a part of the weed and vodka selling groups, even though he himself was also underage. So like, why are you, whatever. He was also, as they always are, very verbally, emotionally, and mentally abusive. He made her feel like absolute fucking shit about herself, but any and every time she tried to leave him, he would go off. He did a lot of really dangerous things, resulting to her ending up having to get a restraining order against him. Scary. We were like 17. What do you mean? Anyway, while she has her restraining order against him, this motherfucker starts sleeping in the parking lot of the Walmart that was the exact amount of meters away from her house that he had to be away from her. Absurd behavior. And so we knew that, right? Which I guess we did kind of technically break the law a little bit. We went to the Walmart parking lot where he was sleeping, because of course he was a homosexual too. If he wasn't with her, he had to live in his car. Not that there's anything wrong with being unhoused or living in your car, but this motherfucker did nothing about it except for drain women rather than fix it himself. Anyway, so we printed out hundreds of pictures of camels having sex. No, giraffes having sex. And we taped them all over his car, all over the windows, the windshield, the back windshield. So when he woke up, there were hundreds of pictures of, I do think it was camels, now that I had the extra second after being cut off by Google to think about it. Just hundreds of pictures of camels having sex all over his windshields and windows. And he like rage text her, because of course he does. And I wish that was the end of their saga, but like, unfortunately it had to get worse, as things do, because otherwise a man will not learn. So I guess this isn't the best story of teaching them a lesson, but it was so very funny, and is still very funny to think about this like bum ass motherfucker waking up in his car and just being terrified by all these images of camels fucking. Like, what an absurd thing to say. Like, let me call my boy and be like, yo, Joshua, you ain't gonna believe what just happened. Like, what? It's like, there's camels having sex everywhere. That phone call must have been crazy. Anyway, fuck that dude. He's now married with kids and happy. And I'm an artist, so, you know.
Okay, I don't know why that kept cutting out. That was pissing me off. Like, I mean, hello, Google. Stop doing that. But hopefully that made sense, because some of it I couldn't hear and some of it I could. But I also love you, and that's literally so funny and random. And that's a really great idea, though. So anyone can take that idea. If they feel the need to print out a bunch of pictures of camels interacting in sexual ways, go right ahead. That's actually really funny and very original. And I love you. And yes, we can be best friends. I don't know where you live, but also that's creepy of me to ask where you live. I love you so much, and thank you so much. And I just love listening to you guys. Like, it's just so fun. I hope it's fun for you guys too, like the other listeners, because I very much enjoy listening to these calls, and I don't listen to them before I play them. Sorry, I don't. I just like to like play and listen like with you guys. So anyways, I love you guys, and seriously, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for calling. Like, I can't believe you guys take the time out of your day to actually dial the number and call, and you, like, you know what I mean? It's just like so sweet and so fierce. Okay. Love you guys. Bye. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.